Hey y'all, we're live. We'll see how many people want to join. All right, we got people coming in already. As y'all know, my name's Tony Tubby. I'm flying solo without Crystal. She's at a mother-son dance tonight, so I had to wear my cheaters so I could see whatever y'all typing. She's usually my eyes for stuff like this. Hey, Charles. In case you're wondering, I'm drinking orange Fanta tonight. So, no mixed drink. We got a bunch of people coming in. Hey, Jared Wilkerson from Alaska's in. Hey, Jared. We got a bunch of people coming in now. Good night. Just put one down with Crybaby. George in Michigan apparently just killed a coyote using that Crybaby sound, that recording of a baby crying. You know, I live vicariously through y'all. I sit behind this damn computer and edit sounds and things like that, answer questions. Y'all are out doing a bunch of night calling and having fun using my sounds, so I live through y'all's posts and messages. All right, we're at 48 people right now. I'm going to let a few more come in. Merry Christmas to you, Tom. Somebody, it flew by too fast. Somebody said I need to get one of your new units, Tony. We'll cover that. We'll talk about, the pre-order, the concept of pre-order, and what's the benefit of pre-ordering. See who else is coming. All right, we got a bunch of people still joining. So how y'all doing on a Saturday night? Today is Saturday, right? Yeah. I think it's Saturday. I lose track of days. I have nothing to do but take care of my family, take care of animals, and edit sound files and fill orders when I'm not guiding. And I don't guide until I think Wednesday. Going down to Texas. Got some good clients of mine that come every year, father and son from California, and we're going down to Central Texas and go night calling for bobcats for a couple of nights. So till then, I keep working on sound files. All right, somebody just said, let's see it, man. Okay, well, I guess we'll get started. Thanks for all joining with me, especially on a Saturday night. Y'all probably have something more fun to do, either hunting or out with your spouse or what have you. But I've had a bunch of guys say, hey, I'm really surprised you've got that new Outlaw call in and you haven't even done a video of it or Facebook or even talked about it. Well, my nose has been to the grindstone just like, 10 or 12 other guys that are behind the scenes in ICOtec to really test this unit out. One good thing about ICOtec, and I'll do a little back history about them. One good thing about them is their customer service calls are tiny. They field all their customer service calls with two guys, JD and Chuck. Chuck runs the company. He does all the marketing. He does all the mailing. He does all the shipments, the incoming, designing. And JD is head of the whole pro staff. He does all the filming. He does all the customer service calls. And that's it. It's not a huge company with desks full of people answering phone calls. And that says something about their product, and that's one of the things that really turned me on to ICOtec. It may take a little while. We've been working on this for 24 months. But when it goes out the door, it's going to be right. We're testing the living shit out of it, putting it inside of a freezer and letting it run for 14, 15 hours straight. Drop testing it, not abusing it, but using it, normal field use of, banging around inside the back of a pickup truck and stuff like that. And make sure any kinks are worked out instead of, and I appreciate that. It's not a company that wants to rush to market and say, hey, we got the new toy. And then everybody get it and then be like, shit, this is broke. This don't work. Their attention to detail, it would swamp them as a company if it isn't a good product. And as a predator hunter, I don't want a product that, you know, I saved up my money and I bought, and it turns out it's kind of a piece of shit. So I'm really proud to be working with them, you know, on this call. And this is why, you know, I switched to them. Let me give you a little background about ICOtec. You know, I've used almost all the collars except for a WT. I never owned a WT, but all the other collars, Johnny Stewart, Primos, you know, quite a few Fox Pros and all that. I've used them all, and you know, my biggest complaint always been remote range. You know, I don't need a call that I can walk out at 3 and put the call at 300 yards. You know, you're going to spook every coyote around walking out that far. But I dang sure need a call that when I press a button on the remote, it freaking works when it's at 50, 60, 70, 80 yards out. Not having to hold it over, stand up on stand and hold the remote. You know, so out of frustration, I went shopping looking for something new, and I went and looked at the ICOtec, and I called JD. He just started working for the company, hadn't even started yet. He was going to start that Monday, and said, "Man, is that remote range really work like they said? You know, I'm having a shit fit with, you know, 40, 50 yards, and they're claiming 300 yards." And he said, "Yeah, it's unbelievable. They sent me a unit, and hell, I'm going to go work for them now." It worked. You know, I walked 100 yards, it worked. 200 yards, it worked. 300 yards, it worked. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, you know, $100 collar, and this remote is working this far. You know, it's all inside, you know, the legal boundaries of remote range and powerage and all that. You know, they just that's what they do. They build collars. They've been building collars. ICOtec's been building collars behind the scenes for a lot of companies for a lot of years. You know, I know Hunter especially, all the Johnny Stewart Prey Masters, ICOtec's company built them. I started out with the GC500. They had a family of collars, you know, like $50, $70, $80 collars. But I needed something. I was looking for a collar that was easy to use, good remote range, and could program. I'm looking for something to host my sounds. You know, at the time I had maybe 80 sounds. Now I've got 210 or something like that. But anyway, so I've been using the GC500, and y'all been seeing me sell the GC500. But working with ICOtec, you know, they said, I said, you know, you got something here. You got something with a remote range. But I need a little more volume, a little more clarity, you know, and a remote that I could read, because the text is small, and, well, I'm getting older. And thus these cheaters. But anyway, if you add those things, if you make, you know, you give it a bigger speaker, you know, give it more power, give it, you know, give it a remote that you can see, y'all have a vital product that could put you way up here in the predator hunting industry. And so that's what they've been working on for the last 24 months. You know, JD was down for a hunt. We did a bunch of filming together a couple years ago. We sketched out designs on a napkin. I still have it in my kitchen. It looks, well, just like this collar. There's a lot of improvements, you know, between what used to be the top of the line last year, or still this year, is the ICOtec GZ500 to the new Outlaw. A bunch of improvements. I'm going to show them to y'all. You also see me building my running gun collars, where I take the guts out of the GC500, the actual electronic boards, you know, and I give it a better antenna, a much better speaker, put it all together, and I've sold quite a few of those, and there's a lot of y'all that have them. I've taken all those concepts and ideas, and I've given them to ICOtec, and they've incorporated a lot of that into this call. So let's do a little comparison. This is a brand new ICOtec GC500, fresh out of our shop. The only thing I did is cut the tape on the box so that I can get to it. You know, after this is over, I'll field through and we'll do a Q&A. But anyway, for majority of the callers out there, the ICOtec GC500 will do what they want. It's a loud little call for its size. I mean, I don't know if you can see the size comparison of any of y'all that never seen one or don't have one, but you know, here's my hand. It's a small unit, it's super lightweight, and it's freaking loud for its size. It's got a remote. You know, it's got a remote with a tiny little screen, kind of a gray with small black text. Also has a light that you can press, it'll change the background. It'll give you a little red light in the background so that you can see it at night. Okay? Well, let's do some comparison. Let's talk about the unit first. I mean, look at the physical size difference. This small speaker, this is a standard speaker that's used in a lot of different predator call companies. It's pretty standard in most callers. You know, look at the size difference in those two. You know, I could put this one inside of it, no problem at all. Much more robust horn speaker, like what you would see that I've been using as external speakers or using in my running guns. It's similar to a TOA speaker. Here's a TOA 10 watt. Okay, it's actually bigger than the TOA 10 watt. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, horn speakers are the most efficient speakers out there to produce sound, and you see a lot of the higher end callers. That's what they use. It can blare. This sucker can make your ears ring bad. Anyway, so physically, it's very ICOtec looking. I think I left it on when I was playing with it earlier. Yeah, it's very ICOtec looking, but it's a big, fat, wide speaker. Okay. That was the one improvement I was really looking for in the collar. The next was a feature-rich remote. GC500, their top-of-the-line remote prior to the Outlaw. Introduce you to the GCX remote. Again, very ICOtec looking, look and feel. Same great buttons that they have on it, but there's a whole lot. First thing that's noticeable, check out that screen. Clarity. Ooh, that's going to be hard to see. Yeah. You know, everything's backwards because of the way I'm doing this Facebook Live. But clarity, unbelievable. I can see it now without having to wear my cheaters when I'm night calling. You know, things like, you know, little things like, look at that little on-off switch. Okay? There's a much better switch. See that little tiny screw? If you have to change your battery, which one 9-volt battery in this will last me all season, no problem at all. But see that tiny little screw? Pain in the ass when you're out coyote hunting and you don't have a screwdriver with you. I mean, I've used my knife to open these. A lot of improvements. I think this one actually came from JD. I've already been doing it to my GC500 remote. Give us a thumb screw. Okay, you can use a screwdriver on it as well, but if I'm changing something in the field, I don't want to have a damn toolkit with me to make quick changes. Okay, so let's talk about the new Outlaw. Same kind of deal. Well, yeah, same kind of deal. It comes with a decoy. Okay, so for the price $379.99, you know, you're getting this loud call, a shitload of sounds on it, and a freaking decoy. Okay, the decoy, same deal. You could be able to change the batteries in the unit with nothing but your fingers. Okay, the decoy, the decoy, great thing for a lot of hunters. I personally don't use a decoy because I got decoy dogs, and there's nothing that'll beat a decoy dog. There's no electronic decoy that can beat that. So I'm taking the decoy off. All right, so decoy comes off. Now you got a standalone decoy you can do something with, right? Batteries. GC500 was amazed, and there were so many people in the industry that questioned, you know, how can they get that much freaking volume and remote range out of 4 AA's, a 6-volt system? I don't know. those 4 batteries would last me 4 to 5 days of calling, and on just 4 AA's. How they do it, no idea. I know it's extremely efficient. If there's a pause in the sound, if it's not producing sound, the amp shuts down, so it's battery efficient. I've left my GC500 on accidentally in my hunting rig for a week, and I went to go get it to load some sounds, and it was still on. Batteries were just fine. Okay, now we got something with some balls. Let me pull this out. This is a battery pack, 10 AA. Right, 10 AA, and I ran just regular Duracells in it. ICOtec's also working on a welded lithium rechargeable pack. It comes apart so that you can change it. So that tells me, good deal, I can have a spare one of these in my hunting rig, ready to go, charged up. So if it runs empty on a stand, I can come in, plug it in, and what have you. I've had this thing for a week now, and I think I've done, I don't know, 3 days of calling and maybe 2 nights of calling with it. And, you know, we've called a bunch of coyotes. I think, I don't know, 48 coyotes with it already. And the batteries are just fine in it. How long the batteries last, those 10, I have no idea yet. Haven't ran it out yet. But anyway, I need to put the battery back on so I don't fall out while I'm trying to show y'all stuff. Alright, so how many? We got 90 people watching. Is everybody liking the look of the Outlaw yet? Y'all are probably sick of me. I look like one of those people I used to make fun of. I look like a damn salesman with all my posts about, don't forget about the ICOtec Outlaw. Check it out. You know, and I feel bad because I sound like a dang salesman. I don't work for them. But I'm excited about this call. You know, I wanted to come out with my own line of calls years ago. I was working with Manaska. I was gonna commission them to produce my own line of calls, and we decided not to do it. And in a sense, I believe they quit producing calls altogether. But I was going somewhere with this. But anyway, this is what I'm looking for, you know, in a caller. All right, so some improvements. Antenna, a very nice, strong, sturdy, swivel metal antenna. Okay. External speaker port, synchronized to sync your remote, and it's crazy. I don't know how they did it, but this remote syncs fast, lightning fast. Decoy port, and 2 drives, USB drives. It uses internal storage. It will hold like 450 to 500 sounds. I haven't filled it up yet, so I don't know exactly how many. Nor does I don't think anyone's filled it up yet. And there's a reason why it's got 2 drives. Okay? With this unit, it's like you're getting 2 callers in one. All right? Both drives need to be synchronized with the same set of sound files. But since it's got 2 copies of it and ready to go, you can play 2 sounds at once through a single speaker. You know, I believe that feature is only available on the currently on the Shockwave. I don't know if Lucky Duck does that or not. But for a single coned speaker that can produce and run 2 sound files at the same time, really, really excites me. What do I do with this remote? Okay, so yeah, we're having a look-see, what have you. Let's turn this puppy on and hear it. All right. Again, beautiful display, easy to read. That white's kind of frying your eyes. Let me change it to night mode. All right. So I'm going to change the display style. I'm going to change it to night mode. That's much easier for y'all to read. Okay. I can change the brightness of it. I can change the sequence delay. So as it runs through a sound file, should it delay 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or not at all before it loops the sound file again? And then also the sleep mode. I've got mine set for 30 seconds. If I don't touch this thing in 30 seconds, the screen's going to go black, waiting for me to press any button to wake it back up. You know, a person can take that down. Let's just see. I don't know. Let's see here. See how it went black on me? So let's see here. I'm going to try to do this totally backwards. 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So y'all that are night calling, you choose a sound, and in 10 seconds the screen's going to go black and be total blackout again. All right, I'm going to change it back to 30 seconds because it sometimes takes me that long to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. All righty. Again, this comes out of the box with like 350 sounds. 20 of them I donated to the company. So there's some TT sounds in here already encrypted in ICOtec's format, as well as a bunch of ICOtec sounds, WT sounds, things that JD Pyatt that works for ICOtec specifically did. So let's just play something. This is ICOtec Group Howl 1. So we gotta get something playing on this. I'm gonna turn down because the bitch is gonna be loud. Alright, so we'll play it on like level 2. It goes up to 10. You all want to hear how loud it goes? Here we go. Yeah, that hurt. Okay, so let me get back. Alright. Some of the neat features are, while this is playing, you could pause it. That's something new for ICOtec. It was either play or stop. So we could not only be playing this, but then we could pause it, and it changes the color on the screen to let us know that one's paused, and it'll pick up where it left off when you unpause it. Okay? Or you could just stop it altogether. All right. One of the neat things, and it caught me by surprise, was, let me let it play in. When I hit pause or stop, it doesn't just cut off. And sometimes that sounds like shit in the middle of a howl. If I pause it, it tapers the sound down. So it'll taper down and then come to a stop. I really like that. Also, when you start it, it does the same thing. It auto fades in and auto fades out when you're doing sounds. Really, really handy, especially when you get into a little bit of complexity by doing 2 sets of sounds. Okay? Favorites. I live on my caller on favorites. So these are from the other night when I was calling. Here's my favorites. It'll hold 10 of them in bank 1. And I'll be golly, I got a whole new set here. Here's 10 more. I got all my coyote vocals on 1. Got all my distresses that I was using night calling on the second one. So I can easily go and jump to my favorites and only go to like the master list of 300 and some sounds when I need to. Absolutely, I live by favorites. All right, Cottontail Candy, one of my favorites. All right, so let's play a little Cottontail Candy. All right, and we clearly see it's running on channel 1. I'm going to jump to my other favorite page. For whatever reason, I want to sound like a super pissed coyote. Now we're running both of them. Okay, and I can control any of them. I want to pause Cottontail Candy. I'll put it back on. I want to pause the howling for a little while. Keep the rapid distress going. Mix the howling back in. There, I ramped that howl back in so it didn't sound stupid. Okay. Pause them both down, or I can just press stop and it clears the list. Okay. What's cool is, you can run this as simple as you want or as complex as you want. And what's nice is I'm sitting there flipping around all these buttons. I tested this very same concept out in my backfield 470 yards away, and it was still doing it. Okay? One of our other guys that was testing, he did it at 700 yards. ICOtec claims 300. We've already doubled that. Again, this was, the other night we were night calling. We were doing all thermal scope, thermal binoculars, all blacked out. And the coyotes were not responding. We went through the first couple stands and they weren't responding to rabbit at all. So I did some locate howling. I went to my high-pitched yipping. Okay, I did this one. Let that play for a while. Oh, pause that. And the whole place lit up. I had coyotes far, I had coyotes near, I had coyotes on my left, my right, howling like crazy. I'm like, well, what the frick? They're ignoring me. I don't like to be ignored when I'm on a coyote stand. So here's what I did. Something I never did before. I went and fired up the old den raid. Okay. So we're playing den raid. We're going to get their freaking attention. I let that play for a little while. Okay, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Alright, so we're firing away den raid. We're still barking, howling. I thought, well, shit, let's give them a little something else. So I gave him some super pissed on top of it. Never tried 2 calls on a stand before. So this is what I'm giving him. Total freaking chaos. Let me pause it. Go ahead and stop all that. You know, and I gave him total chaos. And I'll be damned if we didn't have a pair come running. If we didn't have a pair come running into us from our left, 4 of them coming from the right. They wouldn't cross the road, and they were staying right by the road. They were barking and howling and pissing up a storm. The other 2 are trying to work around us, and we're trying to get them killed before they get our downwind. But den raid alone wasn't firing them up near as much as mixing in some aggressive barking and howling. That was what tripped the trigger. So it proved to me that being able to play 2 sounds at once, I always thought 2 sounds at once. Okay, we're going to do some rabbit distress and some crows. That sounds realistic. But, it'll help take things up to a whole new level. Okay, here's another example, okay? Let's find, it doesn't matter to me. ICOtec single coyote. Here, okay, here's some howling. Boom. Let's play it on both channels. Now all of a sudden it sounds like 2 coyotes. So if you got a certain recording you like, that was a bad example. If you got a certain howl you like, you could fire it up twice, and not at the same time. So, alternates. It sounds like 2 coyotes, or 2 sets of howling. You got a group howl going, and then you got a single aggressive howl going, and all of a sudden it sounds like a party going on, maybe a little territorial fight going on, and I think that's what tripped the trigger on those coyotes the other night. Anyway, 2 sounds at once, fully control what you play, be able to pause them individually, and then just a master stop button. Okay. Another neat feature, and this was a JD's idea. Let me. I don't care. Let's say we're playing some Squealing Bird, right? Now let's do some Let Me Go Jack. All right, so we're wailing away on some jackrabbit. Coyotes coming in, what have you. Shit, there's a coyote. Coax button. It's a preset that automatically shuts everything off and starts playing at a preset level. So boom, here's the coax button. I got it programmed to automatically start coaxing it. Okay. Okay. So no, there's no more fumble. There's no fumbling around of, let's stop this one, or it's going to play on top of it. It's a master thing that stops and starts playing the coax button. Now, it can be used as a coax, like it's designed, or some people may want to program that to be, put den raid on it, or a hurt pup or something like that, so that after the shot, that's when you hit it and it gets their attention. And no fumbling around. You're already down in the scope. You don't have to fumble around. You feel for that bottom button, hit it, and good to go. I'm working on a bunch of new sound files just because of this system. I'm working on some new sound files of some growling and barking so that I could get a coyote stopped. Just like too many times I've had coyotes come in and woof, bark, woof, woof, and they freak out and take off running the other way. A lot of times, if they're close enough, I'll just growl. Again, that makes them turn, look at me, and then you've got 3 seconds to take that shot. So I've got some growling coyotes I'm working on, and that's going to be my coax button. When I want to stop a coyote for a client, I'll ask them, you know, you ready? You got it? Okay. Hit that coax button. The caller growls, and they're looking at the caller, giving us a nice shot, and be able to adjust the gun or what have you without our cover being blown. So that's how I plan on using the coax button. Let me see what else. We've got a couple of Chihuahua puppies here running around, driving me nuts. I already went through the settings. Okay, so what's nice about this remote and caller is it's way feature rich in comparison to the GC500. And what's nice about it, it's all the features a Predator caller really needs. It doesn't have a lot of stuff to get in the way. It doesn't clutter it. The stuff that most Predator hunters would never use. Every button on here is something you would use. You know, you may not want to run 2 sounds at once, but why not? If you're doing a gray fox distress and it's squealing and squalling, why not be able to just press a button and throw in some barking and howling of a coyote just to add that extra realism and kind of wake the woods up? You know, just throw it in sporadically. You know, or maybe throw a little rabbit on top of it, or some bird or what have you. It's got a decoy button. I was looking at the remote trying to figure out, is there something I didn't cover yet? You know, it's got a decoy button, and it's just like any other system. You press it, decoy starts spinning. Press it again, shuts it off. Again, it comes with, fresh out of the box, with ICOtec's decoy. What's cool about these decoys are, they're the first one I ever seen that's got a speed control. You know, I really never liked electronic decoys. I've had more coyotes spook on them than I have focus and come in and try to, you know, grab it. I always had better luck with just a McDonald's napkin, a white napkin on a bush flapping in the wind, or a turkey feather, something that's got that kind of movement, you know. And then when electronic calls or electronic decoys came on the scene, you know, I've had companies send me their decoy and ask for my thoughts on it. And I said, man, that thing spooks the shit out of coyotes. I mean, it's going frantic. It's going nuts. And coyotes see it and run the other way. And this was the first, and maybe there's more on the market. I don't know. But this is one thing ICOtec's good at. They've designed and built a lot of decoys in their day for other companies. When they came out with these, I think last year or the year before, I was highly impressed. I mean, you could kill somebody with this thing. Rock solid. And what I told Chuck is, when we build this new collar, whatever you did to build this robustness, I mean, there's weight. I mean, you feel like you got something. It feels like you bought something with your money. Whatever you did, that's what you need to do in the collar. Be it however you do the plastic, if it's got more ribbing, thicker plastic, better plastic. Excuse me. I don't know. But this is a quality decoy. And I've had a lot of guys say, hey, I want to get a decoy. I've got, you know, a Fox Pro such and such, what have you. What decoy should I get? And I always tell them to get the PD200. This is the AD400, which stands for attachable. It's designed to attach to a collar door. The PD200 is a standalone model with a stake. Great if you're hand calling because it'll run by itself, or you could plug it into electronic control call and control its on and off. But anyway, was always impressed with their decoys. Be able to control that speed and get it slow and not spook a coyote. So, enough about decoys. It comes free. I sell these every day, all day, $50 each. It's part of the collar. Alrighty. I need a drink. So, questions. I've been asked. How long does the batteries last? I don't know yet. We haven't ran it out. We haven't ran it empty. Is it loud? This thing is freaking loud. It's as loud as those 60-watt systems I've been building out of the GC500. It's way freaking louder than the GC500. And the GC500 is a pretty good little call, and will work for most guys. Like if you live in South Carolina or that, it'll rock the woods. This thing has got some serious balls. It'll definitely call coyotes from a long distance. It's got 10 levels of volume. I run it at like maybe anywhere from level 6 to level 8. What's nice is it'll crank all the way up to 10 and still have its clarity. It doesn't get distorted. Okay. It's built solid, you know. It's not too heavy. What's nice, it's got a remote holder that's actually can hold a remote. I mean, once you click it in, all right, let me shut the remote off. Once you click it in, this sucker is not coming out. You've got to pull pretty good. So, you know, not that you're going to carry to the field like this. I tied a lanyard to mine, and that's where I keep it, is on my neck. But when you're done calling for the day, I keep them together so that the next day when I go hunting, I know where everything's at. I'm not, shit, where's my remote? I forgot my remote at home. You know, it stores together. Let's see what else. The other questions is, how good is the remote? I've never had an issue with the remote. Again, I did it 470 yards. When I press a button, it does it, and it does it quick. Again, there's other people doing testing, more thorough testing than I, by putting this in the freezer and letting it play for 15 hours before the regular batteries that you go and buy, you know, at Walmart or what have you, end up running empty. And so, you know, in however cold the freezer is, I don't know what that is, 0. As well as side-by-side comparisons to, you know, some of the loudest top-of-the-line callers that are out there. And there's a noticeable difference. This, you know, if you had to rank that, you know, and I'm not mentioning names and all, what have you, but, you know, if you take 3 of the loudest callers that are available, you know, ICOtec's right up there. There's a noticeable difference in the volume at 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 yards away. It ranks right up there. I'm not going to say, is it the loudest caller on the market? I'm not going to say. But it's pretty damn close. What else? I'm trying to think what else. Other questions. What's the price? Right? $379.99. You know, it's a pretty big jump. $179, $379. Okay, $200 more. But to me, the capability of getting 2 sounds at once, the capability of going from this remote to this remote. I mean, you could tell, you know, they've spent a lot more money building this remote than they did this one. Okay. Also, you're getting 20 of my sound files for free. You're getting, I think I don't know exactly how many sounds because I didn't count them. There's like 300, 250, 350, something like that sounds preloaded on this already. You know, ICOtec went out and bought sounds from people. They've got their own sound library. They've leased some sounds or from another company. You know, they're building a pretty good library of sounds and giving it to you preloaded on the collar. Okay, and it's got a wide variety of stuff. You know, if you're into coon hunting, coyote hunting, snow goose, crow hunting. Oh, that's another thing. Crow hunting. I built custom systems for Drake Craig. Matter of fact, he wanted something he could go predator calling with, and I built him a running gun 60. But also, they run a snow goose operation. They guide hunters. So I built him one that's got an external speaker, so they could get that sound out there. What's nice about this is the intelligence of the remote. A GC500, when you sync it up, you plug the cable in and sync it and get the call list that you've loaded on here onto the remote, it programs this remote to go with this caller. Okay? The technology is opposite in this. When you want to update your caller, you added some new Tony Tebby sounds, and you need to update your remote, You hook them together, and again, ICOtec provides all the cables that you need. You don't have to go run to Radio Shack to find a damn stereo cable. It's in the box. When you synchronize the call and the remote is what's got the master. It synchronizes this caller to this remote, right? So that means if you own more than one of these, you can sync it again, and now all of a sudden 2, 3, 4 of these things, as many as you feel like buying, will be controlled by one remote. You press, let's say you're a snow goose hunter and you got snow goose playing on it, and then all of a sudden, snow geese feeding and a snow geese landing sound, and it's cranking both sounds out this freaking loudspeaker, and the next caller and the next caller, and you can have, with having a caller that you can spread, 400, 500, 600 yards away, you could do a hell of a sound spread with your decoys with one remote. That's pretty dang cool. Again, bonuses that I didn't expect, I had a pretty good bath list, and JD as well, of as diehard predator callers, what we want in a caller. Other little things. Antenna on the GC500 remote. Okay. Pretty handy. Reaches out really far like that. Breakable. Rubber. Not breakable. If there's something that can be on a caller that'll break, I'll find out, because I run hard, and I hunt way more than most people do. So now I can stuff this in my coat. Don't have to worry about accidentally breaking an antenna, in which I've never have. But now with it being rubberized, I think that's a great standard for the remote. What else? Color screen, we covered all that. All right, so before we get into the QA part, I was blessed for helping, and I talk with ICOtec, specifically Chuck and sometimes JD. I talk to them on a daily basis for the last 2 years. And it's always about the caller and designs and sounds and sales and what have you. I was blessed that they asked me if I would be their pre-order company for North America. Rob Crampton is the UK guy, and they ICOtec deals with large dealers, Walmart, Cabela's, Bass Pro, things like that, Rural King, Jebo's, myself. They don't deal a lot of onesie twosie sales like I do. They deal with cases and pallets. So I deal with selling 1 or 2 callers, every day. So they asked if I would be the pre-sale guy. Absolutely. Now what's excellent, we've been doing the pre-sale for I don't know, a month now. What's cool about the pre-sale is, one, you're going to have this caller before anybody else does. The company keeps saying mid to late January is we're going to release it. Y'all keep testing, just focus on testing, find any tweaks, modifications that we need to make. While we're getting the production line all geared up, getting the molds finished and tweaked and what have you, getting ready to produce 1,000 of these suckers in the first run. They're going to airship, and if you've ever shipped anything, they own the company and they own the factory in China that builds these things. If you ever got something from China, it takes a long time to get here, right? So they're going to take 200 of these. There's only 4 fits in a case. I mean, they're sizey things. They're going to airship 200, which is expensive as hell. They're going to airship 200 of them so that everyone who pre-ordered through me can get theirs, within a couple of weeks of when, or a week or what have you, that they finally get them boxed up, or in a few days or what have you. All the others are coming on a boat, and, it may be a month or 2 before they finally start arriving in stores. I read today someone kind of complaining about the release date. well, you guys are going to release this in late January if you do the pre-sale. Who knows? It may be February, March before we can go to the store and buy one. And and that's after my tournament season. Well, sorry, I mean the release date. The release date is not based on when tournament season is. The release date, through ICOtec's proven track record, is when this sucker is done, rock solid, and is ready to go to you, and you put batteries in it and press play, and it works. There's no firmware updates and other things like cell phones have to worry about. So that's when they're scheduled to arrive is mid to late January. It's a little late in the season. I damn sure wished it would have been October, but I want to call it that we all stand behind that, and in my case promote that that's going to work. You know, it's got my name associated with it. It's got my sounds, which I work my ass off, preloaded on it. I want to call it that's just going to freaking work. You know, it's a tool. It's like a wrench or a screwdriver. It's got one job, and it needs to do it, and it needs to do it every time. And so, again, that's the release date on it. If y'all pre-order through us, Crystal and I, for the first 100 people, we're going to throw in a Predator University freebie. We don't know what that is yet. We haven't figured that out. We got till January to figure that out. Might be some sound files, might be a T-shirt, might be a black hoodie. Don't know yet. But we're committed to throw in a free bonus for y'all that said, you know what, I want to be first on this list, and we want to take care of you with that. Besides, you know, send you a badass collar that we're going to stand behind. Trying to think what else. Some of the things that I've been personally doing, besides testing this unit, is now that I've got the capability to be able to play two sounds at once, is I'm working on what I call background sounds, and going to add those to the library. Like if I'm playing rabbit distress, I'm working on stuff called growling coyotes, snarling coyotes, things like that just allow you to play on the second channel, the added realism, to sound like, versus just some rabbits squealing for whatever reason. We don't know why, but there's a rabbit squealing. Now there's a rabbit squealing with a little growling going on, and that may trip that coyote that has been there, done that, heard every damn rabbit distress around into saying, oh, this is the real thing, and come on in, you know. So, or the big alpha male coyote that's laying there listening to rabbit and not really hungry, but whoa, was that growling? Holy shit, somebody's in my territory. I'm coming in and picking a fight. So those are the type of sounds I'm working on. Besides, we're catching rabbits and what have you, and going to keep providing fresh new sound files so your coyotes don't get educated. So, alrighty, I've did a lot of talking. I'm ready for some questions now. First, what do y'all think of the new collar? There's only 65 of y'all left. There was like, I don't know, 90 some. So everybody's gotten bored with me talking. I'm sorry. First question, Paul Landsberg. The decoy is the same one for the GC500? Yes, it is. It's the 8400. Yes, the 8400 decoy. What's pretty smart, you know, and I believe there's other companies offering, you know, for their line of calls, the concept of battery door replacements that allows the decoy to be attached to the collar. ICOtec helped come up with that design for other companies. What's really cool is, here's the door. The door actually is all the way around here because the battery pack's so big. They've got a faux door, a fake door, so that is the GC500 size, so that this thing that already works great on the GC500 will automatically use it. You know, that's extra manufacturing cost to be able to retrofit, instead of saying, hey guys, now you got to go buy the newest decoy that only fits this. You know, they're taking care of customers who already own a decoy, even though they're going to throw it in for free. But if somebody else is, you know, if you already got a decoy, you can use that one on this one. All right. Our next question, a little bit of grass wrestling sound. There you go. A little bit of grass wrestling song along with my distress works. I know JD's working on things like rustling leaves, things like that. Some, you know, a whole line of background sounds. Chet Bixler, is that e-call and remote waterproof, Tony? Well, I don't know of any callers that are waterproof, as in you can throw them in the lake, but I would call it water resistant, just like most e-callers. You know, it could be in a pouring down rain. It's sealed. It's totally sealed up. The only exposure is things, and they've got the little covers to protect it. So if it starts raining on you, it's going to work. If you drop it and it sinks to the bottom of the lake and you get it out, it may not work. About like a cell phone, I would say. So I don't know. I'd say water resistance. All right. Somebody's just, Derek Palmer said, glad I pre-ordered. Features sound awesome. Good deal. Again, I'm sorry it took so long for me to go ahead and showcase this. I was guiding at the time, and my focus was, let's get some shit killed with this new collar. And we did. Can old people see the writing on the remote? Yes, Tom. Let me show you. I want to classify me as one of those old people because, well, I'll be 50 next year. All right. Tell me if you can read this. You know, that's pretty dang legible. Let me move up and down. You know, screen always looks better when you get into TT. Oh, there's some TT. Woo, now you guys are seeing which sounds that I give away as part of this collar. Okay. But it's backwards because of the way we're doing this damn thing. But that's quite readable. We play a sound. I think I got the unit shut off. And it throws it to the top and tells me exactly what's playing. Nice color coded, easy to read. All right, next question. Yeah, I've got to have a remote I can see. You know, I spent $700 on a pair of freaking invisible bifocals, and I owned them for 2 weeks, and they fell on the floor, and Crystal's oldest boy stepped on them and shattered them into pieces. So now I'm back to just regular old cheaters. Very nice remote, Kirk McKendry. Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's something to be proud of, and it'll be the standard of the remotes. Are the keys backlit for night calling? Let me fire this puppy up. Yes, they are. Hold on, I'll shut the lights off. See? Yes, they are. All right. Ugh. Are the keys backlit? Is my dad among the first 100 pre-orders? If he's pre-ordered, then yes, he is. I have not reached the 100 yet. So if he's already pre-ordered, Charles, then yes, he is one of them. And again, I don't know what we're going to give away yet with it. I don't know what the hell's up with this autofocus. So let's talk real quick. Hold on the questions. Some of the questions that I heard before was, I own your library. I own your subscription. Will those sounds work on this? Absolutely. You don't need to rebuy my sounds. I mean, what I've told everybody is, if you buy my sounds, invest in my sounds, you could load them on your collar. You can load them on your ICOtec. If you also own a Fox Pro and a Lucky Duck, put them on them too. I don't care. Don't put them on your friends' collars. That's all I care about. You know, that's illegal. You buy this, it'll come with 20 of my sounds already on it. If you own my other sounds, put them on it. They'll totally work like that. If you own other MP3s or WAV files, non-encrypted files that are designed for another brand of collar, you could put them on there. All right, it'll hold a ton of them. All right, awesome. He tells me he did. Alrighty, perfect, Charles. And tell him I appreciate it. We're gonna work our ass off. As soon as these come in, turn around and send, give the free gift with it and send them right out the door. And get them out to y'all as soon as possible. Any other questions we got? I'm waiting for some more questions. Questions, comments, something. Can you mount it to a Zachary Sims, can you mount it to a tripod? Yes. I can't believe I didn't cover that. Boom. Right there. Mounts to a tripod, and it's in a great balance point. I would show you, I went and bought a Manfrotto just for this, a Manfrotto Compact, just for this. I can't show you because I'm using it to hold my phone right now. But it's a ball head tripod, and easily mounts to it. I sling it over my shoulder, and carry it, and it works good. Remote keys dimmable. I don't know. I could try it out real quick. I know I can change the screen dimness. So let's find out. It doesn't look like it. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm dimming the screen down or brightening it up. But it looks like the keys are staying the same. The keys are not that bright. I've been night calling with it in total blackout with thermal and have not had a single issue of it reflecting light. I'm blind as a bat, so I run it at 100%. So it doesn't look like the keys dim down with that. The fully loaded TT edition is $779. Tyler Hagu. Yes, it is. I had some ask, what's that call going to be with? I want to get that call and I want all your sounds. Well, I had to come up with a price figure. So I just figured my sounds, if I sold this, if I sell my prior sounds prior to 2017 and the subscription, that's worth $400 to me for over 200 sounds. That's $2 a piece. So I gave it a price tag, and I've sold, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them already that are this color, fully loaded sounds, ready to rock and roll. And in that case, we're going to unbox it, load all my sounds on it, and ship it out like that. Which TT sounds did you choose to include? That's a good question. We've never published that. But, what the hell? I'll tell you, I'm proud of the sounds that I chose. And they said, whatever sounds you want. So I chose sounds that was a good mixture. So let me look what I got. Did I give away my money makers? Hell no. I'm a better businessman than that. But let me look here. Sound editing. Give me a second here. Finish sound. Oops, that's samples. Finish sounds. Of course, you had to ask me that right now, and I'm not prepared. GC500, ICO new units. Okay, here we go. The sounds I'm including that I donated, and I'll no longer be making money selling these to ICOtec users, is TT Cottontail Overdrive, Cowtip Cottontail, Captain Jack. Captain Jack was one of the first Jackrabbit sounds I released, and I've killed a shitload of coyotes with that. That sound right there is over 9 minutes long. Jack Breath, Jack Knife. And what's nice is, and I'll give you a little sample of them, Jack Breath is a nice slow jack that's gasping for air. Jack Knife is a new sound, and it's frantic as hell. Okay? Freeloader Jack. Baby Gray, which is Gray Squirrel. Little Pup 1. Really good sound file. Denipups, my absolute killer sound come spring. Hurtin' Pup, one of my better pup distresses. Coyote Sound Off, pair of coyotes firing off. Alpha Female Coyote. Coyote Pair Territorial. Again, another one of my sounds that are on my favorite. Wet Hornet, so now all of a sudden we got a pissed off coyote. Coyote Group Howl number 4, one of my better group howls. Simple Challenge is a nice short challenge howl. Coyote Fox Fight, had really good luck with it in Texas. It's a gray fox and a coyote getting in a fight. But I figured, for our Texas tournament hunters and what have you, it'd be a really good sound for them to have. Coyote Pup Screams, one of my all-time favorite pup distresses. Lonely Male, which is an alpha male coyote that's got that nice long lonesome howl. And another one of my favorite, TT Trash Talker. Another real trashy, pissed off coyote. So, I tried to give, some cottontail, some jackrabbit, pup distress of various degrees, some lonesome type howling and some aggressive type howling. Kind of give people a taste of what my sounds sound like. And y'all are the first people that's ever heard my list. All right, next question. Buck Wells. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I think Zach Sims, you asked that question earlier about is it mountable? Do you like my shirt? You sent that to me. It's a badass shirt from y'all. One of my favorites. All right. Hit me with some more questions, guys. What's needed to pre-order? Okay, Jason Tippett. Go on my website, which is prairieuniversity.store, which shortcuts you from prairieuniversity.com, and go to electronic calls, and you'll see the ICOtec Outlaw pre-order. You purchase it, and it'll tell you that it's a pre-order and when it's to be established, and it's got a certificate. Our plan was to print out that pre-order certificate, and I was going to sign each one of them and tell you number 1, number 2, number 3, what have you, and sign it and mail them out. And we are still going to do that. But the printer behind me shot craps. So Crystal and I went out the other day and we bought a brand new printer. It's in the box right here. We're going to get that hooked up this weekend, hopefully, and print out all the certificates and get them mailed out Monday or so, Monday, Tuesday. And then, so everyone who pre-orders is going to have a nice hand-signed certificate. So if you're buying this as a gift for somebody, boom, you can hand it to them. Hey, Merry Christmas. This is what's coming, and you got something in your hands. So I'm trying to think what else. But that's what you do. It's just like you purchase it, but it's clearly on there that you're doing a pre-order. You're going to be, if you're one of the first 100, you're going to be getting some freebies from us. And I'm offering it what they call MAP, the minimal advertised price. And that's how I've been selling the GC500s is, there's your retail price and then the minimum you're allowed to legally sell it at. That's what I sell it at. Okay. When's the new, Paul, when's the new coon sound coming out? I don't know yet. I talked to Chuck about that today from ICOtec. I was working on a coon sound. I got it sitting right here, but I wanted to wait and listen to some of the coon sounds that come on this that JD recorded, and then, man, they sounded better than what I was working on. And I don't strive to be second place in anything. I don't want to come out with a coon sound that's almost as good, or man, it sounds pretty good, but I want the best. So Aaron Blake throw test. Not doing a throw test on this one. I plan on calling up some bobcats for my clients in a few days with it. I don't want to do a throw test on it. So it's back to the drawing board. I got to do some more work on getting coon set. If I stamp the TT name on it, I want it to be the best sound for its application. So I'm holding off on the coon sounds for a while. Unbox the first 100 calls and sign them. Well, that'd be kind of cool. The problem would be somebody said, "Hey, thanks for the new collar, love it, but why'd you freaking graffiti it? You ruined it." So I'd hate to hand sign a collar, but I don't know. I'll figure out something. It'll be one of those things that we'll figure out. You know what I'd love to do? I just can't afford it. I'd love to throw in one of these. You know, I've commissioned Ambrose to build me 20 of them. They're not cheap. They cost me, I don't know, $25 or something like that. But this is what I'm giving my clients this year that come on my hunts. Every one of them absolutely loved it. You know, it's wrapped in coyote fur hydrographics with my logo and that. It's a pretty badass gift. I'd love to throw something like this in. I just can't afford to do it. I don't want to make any money. All right. We're down to 48 diehard people. Hit me with some more questions, guys, or some comments or something, so I know y'all are actually watching and listening, and I'm not just wasting my time here. I don't know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a middle finger. Give me something. Tyler, that remote is amazing. I agree. There was a lot of drawings going back and forth about the design of that remote. You know, it's got 4 AA batteries in it. It's like having 2 calls in one. Be able to fully control 2 sounds and fit all right here. The only thing you see on the side is a power switch. Okay. And a few people said, "Well, I don't know, that power switch, it looks like you could bump it when you stick it in your pocket and turn it on." One, I'm not going to stick a high-end remote like this in my damn pocket. It's going on a lanyard, it's going around my neck. 2, if you turn it on, on accident, big freaking deal. In 30 seconds here, or you could go down to 10 seconds. In 30 seconds, it's going to go down into power save mode, and that son of a bitch will probably last 2 months in power save mode. So, the only thing you see on the side is this. There is a bunch of companies that got buttons here and buttons on the side, and you press this button, press that button, oh, you press that. Man, that's complex as hell. I want to control this whole thing with my thumb, you know, just like I text. So if I've got my big gloves on, I want to be able to easily control. We night called the other night, and I never had to look at my remote. I didn't have to get my damn cell phone out and kind of be able to see the buttons. It didn't take me long at all to memorize, play, pause, stop. Hell, that's easy enough. Coax. Sound choice up and down, volume up and down. That was easy. I wasn't running decoy, and I didn't need to dick with the menu. So just in a few minutes, you got this thing memorized, never have to look down, and I think it's intelligently laid out. They did a hell of a job. The other thing is you got something. This thing is strong. Remember I talked about the decoy? It's solid. I could break a damn car window with it. This remote feels the same way. It is solid. It doesn't feel like I could crush it with my hand like a lot of other remotes. Okay, Rick Rogers. Purpose of 2 calls at the same time. Well, Rick, I gave a demo earlier. I'll do it again. Rick's a local guy, fellow predator hunter. I was north of town. I was guiding on the first ranch north of town. And I mixed 2 sounds at once. I mixed den raid, okay, which is a badass fight scene. Okay. And I turned down with Super Pissed Coyote. So now you can see Den Raid and Super Pissed Coyote are playing. So now all of a sudden I got some barking and howling going on. It sounds like a territorial fight. I don't have a recording like this. Nor do I need to create none. I can master mix right here, like a DJ. I could pause, get that barking to stop and the howling, or I can just pause the whole dang thing. I can control 2 separate sounds with just my fingertips. I really like that idea. Scott, you said own Scott, you said own batteries. I didn't catch the first part. It's a black. Dang it, man! You guys are you guys are scrolling. Stand timer on the remote, man. Zach, you're catching me with my pants down because one, I forgot about the obvious tripod mount. I also forgot about the obvious timer right there. Okay. So yes, also battery life indicator right here. It is fully charged. Same 4 AA's I put in it last week. All right, next question. Oh man, there's a ton of questions going by. So if y'all asked a question you really want an answer, ask it again. What's your number one go-to sound for this time of year? Cottontail candy. We've been tearing them up with cottontail sounds, and I've noticed watching what people say they use during the world hunt or what they're using. It's surprising on how many people are using cottontail now. And they may not be using one of my cottontails, but I find we've been calling in a hell of a lot more coyotes using cottontail than we have. Okay, but then at jackrabbit. So most of mine come into cottontail candy this time of year, and I'll keep doing that until it stops. Breeding season's coming up, then I'll be getting a lot more fighting scenes. The decoy has its own power. Yes. Decoy has its own power. 4 AA batteries in it. Okay. And then it's got a sync port on it to sync your remote. And then the decoy port has also got its own port also, so you can electronically turn the decoy on and off. So, what's nice about it is if you're a decoy crazy kind of person and you run the shit out of this, you can run it as much as you want. If the batteries run out, it's its own batteries. It's not going to jeopardize the most important thing, which is the thing making the sound. Also, heaven forbid you have a failure. Man, I tell you what, the motor burn up in my damn decoy, which I've never had anybody call me about. Then we'll just replace the damn decoy. Don't have to send your whole collar in because the decoy's built into it. It's modular. I like that idea. Okay. Dar Erickson says, I had good luck mixing cottontail candy and cottontail crazy. Well, I've never tried that. I actually played around with it here in the office, but I've never tried that on stand. I'll give it a shot. Matter of fact, we're going to be cat hunting. With cats, it's got to be high pitch and busy. And those are 2 busy sounds. I'll give that a try, Wednesday night. Lanyard hold on the call itself. Yes. 1, the remote's got a nice built-in lanyard hole. Okay? 2, I told Chuck, I said, can you put some lanyard, something on this thing so that you could carry the collar, Boom. Let me get the angle right. There we go. They put a lanyard hole through the back legs. So you can run, and it goes all the way through. So you could run a 550 cord through here, and now you got something to be able to carry your collar. Or you can mount it, they've got longer legs on this thing too. It stands up nice out of the grass by itself. I like putting it on a tripod and getting it up, at 4 foot high, but that's just me. We need that call man when you're overrun with them in East Tennessee. Well, come on, Wesley. Pre-order. This is a badass call. Now, the other thing is, this new speaker that they're using, I was playing Cottontail Crazy with it on a stand. Matter of fact, I released the video of it when we called it a double. And I could hear little chirps and quirks and things that the rabbit was doing that I've never heard before. I probably did sitting on my Mac with my headphones on editing, but with all the other callers I've played with, I've never heard those sounds before, and I kind of forgot that they were in there. This speaker replicated them, which is a new bonus. I'm starting to hear things in my sound files that I forgot were in there. It's a badass speaker. I like it. They mounted it nice and tight. This thing's rock solid. All right, what else? Thanks for the demo. Time for me to go hunt. Oh, you lucky sucker. I'm in babysit mode. Drake Craig is watching. Drake, I just mentioned you a little earlier about that system I built you. This one remote can run a bunch of these units. You can play your snow goose, snow geese feeding and snow geese landing, 2 sounds at the same time on this collar, and up to 400, 500, 600 yards away, you could have 2 or 3 more of these suckers cranking, all controlled at the with one remote. This is a pretty smart system. All right, what else we got here? Is the handle good and strong? Yes. This is a beefy handle. The GC500 actually had a pretty dang good handle on it, right? You can see it. The one thing I didn't like about it is if you tried hanging it on a tree branch, well, this is a bad example because this is a brand new one out of the box. It doesn't have the batteries in it. But when the battery's in it, you try to hang it on a tree branch, it'd fall off. This remote, based on that complaint, and that's one thing I liked about ICOtec, is everything they put into this collar is based off of listening to their customers. A young company that listens to their customers, and that's a force to be reckoned with. So they put that little hook on there. So now, and it's balanced, you can hang this thing on a tree branch or a fence if you want to hang it on the fence, to get it up. The other thing is look at that. It's like the John Holmes of handles. That is a beefy handle. I could kill a coyote with this. If I could whop a coyote upside the freaking head with it, and it's not going to break the collar. Yeah, it's a good strong handle, and you got something. It's almost too wide for my hand. Okay, I'm excited for him. I noticed that GC500 Cottontail Crazy had some speaker blurps in it, and don't know if you experienced this. I'm not so sure about Cottontail Crazy's got some parts where when I was recording, the rabbit got too close to the microphone. I had the microphone about that far away, and it kind of overpowered the microphone. And I tried to edit those out, but there's still some in there. Cottontail Candy has got some blurps in there of the rabbit gasping for air, doing that kind of stuff. That is as loud as the screaming. And those are in there. They've always been in there. Never had a problem with a coyote. What I plan to do with my 2018 subscription is fix both of those sound files. And those are my 2 tops, them and Denraid. My 2 top, they're the bread and butter. They're what keeps all the lights on and keeps a roof over my family's head. But I'm going to update those sound files and re-release them, free of charge for anyone who's ever bought it. And I plan on doing that as part of the 2018. Are the sync and external speaker ports more heavy duty than the GC500? Yes. Okay. So there's a lot of things in here that I'm not talking about because they don't mean stuff to us, but they mean a lot. Like a lot to ICOtec. So if this switch goes out, right? That switch is built onto the board. The only way to fix this switch is to replace the whole freaking board. Everything's modular on this system. If this switch goes out for some reason, they can replace just the switch and not have to replace the whole guts of the damn thing. Let's look at, it doesn't matter, they're all the same. External speaker port of a GC500 or the sync port or what have you. That's them. They're inside there. They're built onto the board, and you shove it through the hole and it plugs in, right? This, they're the same, am I right? That's something that's more standard. It's an individual unit that has the little, threaded screw-on, whatever you're gonna nut, basically. Same kind of thing you find on the high-end running guns that I build. All the ports have it. Okay. Close the dust covers. This thing's ready to go. All right, next question. Good selling point. Kill the coyotes with the call. Caleb Wilson was with me one time and on a hunt and shot a coyote, and it didn't. We thought it was dead. I walked out there, picked up the collar on the way, and it was a Fox Pro Spitfire, and got out there, and the coyote was well alive, and he wanted to chew my leg off. And we were hunting brush, and the biggest stick is like that big around. So the only thing I had in my hand was the collar. I whopped him upside the head to knock him out so I could, stomp his chest and put him out of his misery. And I broke the collar over his head. The batteries flew out, put the batteries back in it, and it still worked. Okay, call rechargeable. Okay, it's got a battery pack in here that you could take out, load it with AA's. ICOtec's also working on a lithium rechargeable pack that will plug in for this. It will be available, sometime after the first year. I don't know when. It may be available in February, it may be available in June. I don't know. But yeah, they're going to have a rechargeable battery pack for it. And me being in the guiding business, I'll have one charging, in the vehicle, even though I could probably get 5 or 6 days of calling on these AA's, but I have to have a backup. So what's nice is I can take the whole pack out, have one, replace it when charging, pop it in, and keep calling. Okay, what's battery life like? Yeah, I covered that earlier, Drake. I don't know. We're keeping track of that. We're keeping records with our testing. I've had it for a week, and I don't know when the battery's going to run out. On a GC500, I can get 4 to 5 solid days of calling on those. I don't know yet. I've only done 2 days of calling on it. But I'll keep running until the batteries run out. I'm going to be calling from dusk till dawn for 2 nights straight this next week, and we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if these batteries last all that as well. Favorite buttons on the remote? Yes. It's got 2 sets of favorites. So you have 20 favorites that you can store. I'm big on favorites. Favorite bank 1. And I only got a few sounds. I got all my rabbit sounds on there. Favorite bank 2. So now you got 20 favorites. So you don't have to shop around through 350 sounds that come on it. Roughly, I think that's about the right number. Looking for a damn sound, I pre-program this while I'm driving or the night before I'm guiding, and put all my favorites on there so that it's faster, easier, one button away from playing the sound I want. I'm hoping that answers the question you're asking, Jason. All right. Austin Boyd. Hey, Austin. I saw that picture of that deer you posted. Holy crap. It's a nice one. What other questions do y'all have? And it could be about this badass collar that's coming out and how to pre-order and what have you, or any other features. Or he can outlast me anything. I don't know. Doesn't matter to me. Now, I was impressed with this collar. In 2 days, we called 42 or 46 coyotes. I have to look at the numbers. Good question, Manuel. How much? $379.99. I'm selling it at what they call MAP, minimal advertised price, below retail. Below what they would probably be selling it if you went to a store when they finally get them in there. Sounds from Mountain Lion. I'd have to check. I didn't donate any of my Mountain Lion sounds, but I don't know if ICOtec provides any Mountain Lion sounds or not. I'll reread all these later. I'll check it out and then I'll give you the answer. Assuming that I've got the final list of sounds on here on this test unit. Can you change the order of the preloaded sounds? Absolutely. Just like any other caller, through the history of e-callers, it uses the number system, 001, 002, 003. So you could go and, copy all these. It's got 2 separate banks, like having 2 separate callers. Copy one out, put it on your PC, change them around, delete some shit you don't want, add some stuff you do want, get it how you want it, number them, and because it holds like 450, 500 sounds, something like that, you can put them in chunks, so that you got room to grow. 0 to 80 are going to be my rabbit sounds, and then I want my bird distress sounds, and I'll start them at 100. So now I got 20 more gap for future. You could do all that, get it how you want it, copy it to the USB port number 1, unplug it, plug it into USB port number 2, copy it there, 2 copies on the collar. It's got that much memory in it, and then it's ready to rock and roll. But yeah, you just got to renumber them. Here, 75% gray. Oh, I missed that one. Is it easy to sync up and download sounds? Yes. Downloading sounds, I just plug into the USB port, okay, and just copy them on like you do any other collar, like you would do an MP3 player or your phone or, you know, what have you. It's just like a directory. To sync the remote, and I wish I don't have the cables in here. The sync the remote's awesome. Turn the collar on, plug in the sync cable, plug it into the remote, turn the remote on. GC500 was great about that too. It would just say synchronizing or updating sounds or something. And you can watch it just fly through the sounds. This one is like that, but on nitrous. I couldn't believe how fast it was. I plugged in, done. They have really improved on how fast this thing can update. But yeah, it's super easy. What other questions we got? I'm looking. I'm not seeing. You're welcome, Joseph. You know, and we could do another one of these live videos sometime if you want, if you guys are interested, and I could show how I copy sound files onto it and sync the remote. You know, for those who want a little more thorough focus on that. Have any of the testers accidentally shot the collar yet? Survivable. No, none of them's shot it yet. One of them has put it in the freezer and turned it on, which I think they ran at half volume because full volume their wife couldn't stand. But put it in the freezer and it ran for 15 hours before the regular alkaline batteries ended up dying. I haven't thrown it across the yard. I haven't shot it. I don't want to. I freaking love this call. I've been waiting for it for 2 years now of designing. And I don't want to break it because I'm having way too much fun, you know, killing stuff with it and be able to read the remote while I'm doing it. When will they be shipped? Sorry if this has been asked. No problem at all, Billy. They are scheduled to ship in mid to late January. While they're gearing up right now in their factory, they're gearing up the assembly line and the molds and getting all the bits and parts and all the pieces that make one of these. They're getting all those in, you know, in huge amounts, and they're going to build 1,000 of them in the first run. While us as testers, you know, there's a guy in the UK testing, Rob Crampton. There's a handful of us, I don't know, 8, 9, something like that, in the US that are really testing it out. We're looking for any last minute changes, tweaks, modifications that need to be made. You know, like the hey, my buddy Rick Palett's watching. You know, my only suggestion I've had so far is the battery pack. And this is minuscule. This is tiny stuff. All the functionality's working. You know, they've been testing prototypes for a while. JD's had one. He's been out to New Mexico, Arizona, and there in Ohio, killing stuff with it, and then taking the changes that he wants to make. But this battery pack, okay, there's a battery pack with the cable, what have you. This battery pack, let me slide it back in there. Okay, so it holds that battery pack. Again, they're working on a lithium, welded lithium pack to replace if you don't want to use regular Duracells. But let me screw this back on. My only complaint that I've filed so far is that when I screw this in, this battery pack that was in there, it'll rattle. I mean, you don't get it when you're walking, but if I shake it sideways, it'll rattle. So, in that case, I want some foam in there. I want a piece of foam inside there, so this is rock solid quiet. That's been my only complaint. Speakers nice and quiet. They've already invested in soundproofing the case between the case and the speaker to give it that nice rich sound like you would do in a bass speaker in your stereo in your vehicle. I just want the same type of padding. While they're doing that, throw a little in that battery case. Does it play a sound on a loop or still give the 30-second pause? Yeah, ICOtec, Kelly Westby's asking that. That was one of the things that I really questioned when I first got my ICOtec GC500 was what the hell's this pause? It's one of the reasons they were so efficient on batteries. It would pause for 20 seconds and shut and it would shut the amp down and keep the battery from being used. There's an option now. Sequence delay. I highlighted it. Let me focus there. Okay, sequence delay. Well, it's currently set to off. 20 seconds. Or off. I got mine set to off. So now when it hits the end of a sound file, it'll automatically loop through. And again, when it starts to play a sound or when you pause or stop a sound, it doesn't just cut it off and it sounds, I've done that way too many times where I'm doing some howling and I try to catch it between the howls to go ahead and stop the sound, and it sounds like shit. It's out, the coyote stops. It ramps up the sound, fades in and fades out. Anytime you go to pause or stop it, it'll fade the sound out. I really, really love that feature. What volume do you usually call at? This has got 10 steps, and they're pretty aggressive steps. 10 is like uber loud. I run it between 6 and 8. I'm an aggressive caller. I'm a loud caller. I think when you fire up a sound, it starts playing on, well, let's find out. Five. It'll start at 5. And 5 is plenty freaking loud. Let me go jack on volume 5. And I got it facing away from me. Well, I got to turn it on. That'd be nice. Okay. And this is based on their badass technology of the remote. I just turned it on. There's no synchronizing. You don't have to, make sure this is turned on first and then turn the remote and then they communicate talk to each other. It's not like that. I just turn it on, press play. Now I'm going to drive my kids nuts. I'll turn it up to 10, facing away. Damn. Anyway. Yeah, I don't run it at volume 10. Anywhere from 6 to 8 is what I'll usually run it at. Okay, good job, Tony. I'll holler at you later about my annual visit. Sounds good, Mark. The schedule has really been busy. If you hope you want to do some springtime calling, I've got a couple of days here and there open, but otherwise it's going to be like mid to late March when I'm open for another guide and hunt. Some bitch I yanked my Sorry about that, Joseph. My ears are ringing like somebody just shot a rifle next to me right now. Again, working with ICOtec for the last 2 years, I told them based on your badass remote, and what you got with the GC500, if you really want to be, in the predator calling game and not just at entry level callers, but scoot all the way up towards the top, super loud caller, super clear caller, a badass remote with full color screen, easy laid out buttons that are easy to find and not have to search for them in the dark, and don't jeopardize the remote range. And they came through. I'm stoked about this collar. Absolutely, if you can't tell. And again, I don't even work for them. All right, Sexy Beast. Sean, I hope you're talking about the collar and not me. Is there a place for a strap to hook up for easy field carrying? Yes. The remote's got one built in right there, and it's rock solid. Okay? But also, I asked if one could be put onto the collar, and they incorporated it through these legs. And let me see if I get the angle right. But you'll see, no, I still don't have it right. But anyway, yeah, there it is. You'll see that hole right there. So you run your paracord through it, and it balances out beautiful. You carry the collar, no problem at all. But again, it comes standard with the decoy. This decoy is a separate unit. You put it onto it, plug it in, and it works. If you don't feel like carrying the decoy due to weight, or if you don't use a decoy, or if you're finding that you're spooking coyotes this time of year with the decoy, then you can run it without the decoy. For some reason, decoy breaks. It's a separate individual modular unit. They'll replace the decoy. You don't have to send your caller. You keep out calling. Is there a place for strap to hook up? Yeah, all right, that's it. You should make a TT neoprene cover for it to help with my clanky sounds. We haven't sewed, Crystal or I, sewed anything in a long time. I'm fortunate that our business has really, really taken off to the point that I could get out of guiding if I wanted to. But I love the guiding part. But we just don't have time to sit and sew stuff anymore. Some things have to go to the side, and that's one of them. I don't sew any more straps for carrying coyotes or dragging coyotes, lanyards, any of that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah, it'd be a pretty smart business move of him if he came out with a neoprene thing. You know, I mean, it's not too loud of a call. It doesn't have that metal bell ring that the TOAs had. Again, I gave an example, you know, in comparison to a 10-watt TOA, size-wise. This is what you're looking at. So any of y'all that have bought my external speakers, the 10 watts, this collar's about the same size. Okay. Would you consider hands down the best collar you have ever used to date? Yes. Yes. I was pretty sold on the Manaska collars. Unfortunately, you know, they quit making them. They had a long history of making collars. To date, I've always said the best call ever made from a predator collar, for a hardcore predator collar's perspective, is the Fox Pro CS24. It's a solid, simple design that's loud, clear, and it works. All right. Now I'm not going to say that. Ability to play two sounds at once through a horn speaker, and I know Lucky Duck's got that capability as well. It's loud, it's clear, and I can tell you what, at 200, 400 yards, this thing's louder than CS24. So yeah, it's loud, it's clear, it's feature rich, and yeah, I'd say it's the best call I've used. When are you coming up to Alaska to go calling with me? Jared Wilkerson. Man, I would love to, Jared. I need to sell a lot more calls to be able to afford that plane ticket, but it's on my bucket list to do some calling up in Alaska. And now that I got an inside buddy who lives there, I'm good to go on that. I will keep you posted. All right. Any other questions we got going on? And again, I don't work for ICOtec. I'm spending tonight with y'all. You know, Crystal and I made the business decision to go with unlimited data plan on our phone. So if y'all like these, we could do a lot more live feeds. We kind of gave up on them for quite a while because it chews the living shit out of your data plan. But now it don't matter. I can sit here and talk all night. We could do these weekly. It doesn't matter to me. Is it paintable? Yes. I mean, it's I don't know what they use. This is a different plastic than what they've used with these. You know, I'm not a plastic scientist, but it's got, you know, a non-shiny finish to it. You can see right there inside the battery compartment. See how shiny that is? But the rest of the color, you know, of course, it comes with the decoy or the other little door that'll cover that. So that tells me if it's got a finish that is matted like that, paint's going to stick to it real easy. All right. Off the subject, shoot me a message about the half-ton Chevy when you are ready. I'll have to go back. It's already off the screen. I don't remember. I didn't see who posted that. But yeah, after I get through reading all the messages, I'll give you a holler about that. I think it's about my coyote chasing truck if I want to sell it. Okay, what's the battery life like, James? James, I don't know. I've had this for a week. I've did like two and a half days of calling and 2 partial nights of calling with it. I haven't really called with it enough to tell you how long these batteries last. It runs on 10 AA's, which is a huge improvement to 4 AA's of the GC500. But I don't know how long it'll last. I'm guiding for bobcats all night in Texas, Wednesday and Thursday night, and I'm going to use the same batteries until they run out. All right, I'm sold. Put me on the list. Well, Kelly, there ain't no list, Kelly. If you want a pre-order, if you want them air shipped from the factory to here so I can get these out the door, you got to go and order it off the website in the pre-order. You need it dipped like your mug. Aha. Yeah, Ambrose did a badass thing about this. And I'll look at it, and if we get enough pre-orders, I may look at offering that capability of someone getting a fully dipped one where I could take this apart, take the electronics out, send it to Ambrose, have him put this custom coyote fur wrap on it, and then assemble it all back together again. That'd be a badass looking collar. So we'll see what we can do. I need to, again, I don't work for ICOtec, so I need to sell a few of these. Tripod mount, Aaron Blake, boom, right there. Well balanced, right there in the middle. As well as it's got some nice little legs on it. It sits up out of the grass. I would show it mounted to the tripod. You can see the pictures on my Facebook page. The tripod I'm using is a little Manfrotto that I bought just for it, and that's what's holding my phone right now. Jason Tippett, I need to book a 3-day hunt with you. Just give me a call, man. We'll see about fitting you in. The coyotes are doing good. One of the things, this is my 11th season of guiding, and I risked burnout. I kind of hit burnout last year. I hated the smell of coyotes. That's why you don't see, for one, the type of clients that I have, they're not big on storing up coyotes and making a big hero photo of, hey, here's the 3 days of coyotes that we killed and half of them are freaking bloated. I can't stand the smell of them riding around in my vehicle, to the point that I'm sick of skinning coyotes. I've skinned way too many damn coyotes. Fortunately, I've only skinned 2 coyotes so far this season. I could go the rest of the season without skinning them. But this year, I wanted to do something different with the online business and the calls and the sounds and everything keeping me busy. That's a full-time job there. I reduced the number of hunts I'm booking. I used to book 6 or 7 hunts a month and have maybe 3 days off in a 2-month period. I'm doing it different this year. I'm only doing 2 or 3 hunts in the entire month and getting 4 or 5, 10 days or what have you in between hunts to be able to get the rest of my job done. By changing that, by not doing the TV show where we were calling coyotes during the summer, it's drastically changed quantity and quality. The first guided hunt I did, we hand called 45 coyotes in 4 days. The next hunt, we called 33 coyotes in 2 days. This other hunt that I just did, we called 62 coyotes in 4 days. That's the kind of hunts that my clients deserve. So I'm going to be doing less hunts, a lot less running and gunning, and put on far better hunts, a lot more virgin coyotes, and so that's what I'm doing. So I'm spreading my hunts out. I'm not booking solid this year. That keeps me in the game for a long time. Otherwise, I reach burnout and I'll just say screw it and quit guiding, and that's a shame because I love showing people the excitement of coyotes charging in. All right, question for us night hunters. Does the backlight have a brightness setting? Yes, it does. Let me show it. Let's run through this menu real quick again. All right, we'll turn it on. Okay, it's at the call list. I press menu. I'm trying to read this backwards on the screen here. Okay, it's display. You want day? Or night. Okay, it's night. Now, what brightness do you want? I'm running on 100% right now. You want to get dimmer? Or brighter? Okay, so let's see what it looks like with the lights out. All right, the keys are lit up so you can see the keys. And let's dim that puppy down to the lowest setting. Again, we ran this night calling, total blackout, thermal, and never had a single coyote spook because of the thing. Now, the brightness or anything. Okay. Also on it is sequence delay. Either 20 seconds or off. So when it loops through a sound, it'll go play it again immediately or wait 20 seconds. And then sleep mode. When should this thing go black again? I can control that now. I got it set on 30 seconds or 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, the sucker's going to go black on me. I like it at 30 seconds. Press the menu again. Everything's nice and stored. Let me turn the lights back on. So 10 seconds is badass to be able to go through, change your sound or what have you, and then it'll go out, go dark on you again. Also, you know, I don't wear it like this. I wear it like this on my neck so that it lays like this. So I change my sound, drop it, it's facing me, and I'm back on my thermal. All right. Again, it's got, just for any other questions, it's got battery. I can see the battery's already starting to go down a little bit. It's got battery indicator, and it's also got the call timer. You know, one of the things that JD and I had been pushing ICOtec that is mandatory. If you're going to come out with a new remote, put a damn timer on it. So that's handy. I've never really paid attention. I'm always called by instinct on how long I've been on the stand. But that's pretty nice to have those features. And it should be standard on any caller. All right. What other questions? We're down to 30. Start off with 100. I'm boring people. Uh-oh. My orange soda's running low. Do we have any other questions? Comments? I hope I did the call justice. You know, besides the testers, this is kind of the first public view. Chuck from ICOtec, you know, had done some initial videos kind of showing some of the features, but always showed just a little bit, a little taste, you know. This is everything. Scott Pierce, sorry I'm late. Jason Tippett, if you were going to book a hunt with yourself, when would it be? You know, that kind of goes with the question of when's the best time of year to go calling. And what I've always told people is it depends on what you look. Thank you, Scott. I'm getting older. It depends on what you're looking for. You want quantity? October, November. Bunch of dumb pups running around, and naive parents that hadn't heard a call for a long time. Does it come loaded with cottontail candy? No, sir. That's my money maker. That's my #1 selling sound. And it's one I'm not willing just to give away to anyone. If you're looking for fur, November, December, January. If you're looking for focus on coyote vocals, January, February. You look for badass decoy in action, and I run my decoy dogs the whole season. But if you're looking for that badass decoy action with coyotes that are barking and howling and pissing and chasing the dog, and that's where I get a lot of my sound files that I offer y'all is from filming those hunts. That is March, April, May, June. You know, that springtime hunting. So it really depends on what you're looking for. You know, like right now this time of year, we're calling the shit out of coyotes, and they're big and they're fluffy and they're quite skinnable. So it all depends what you're looking for. All right, what other questions? I guess I could scan up and see. Got a bunch of people watching. Does it come with cut and shut? Any idea on the total weight? No, Buck, I don't know what the total weight is. I guess I've got a digital scale, but it's out in my vehicle. It's out in the vehicle because we used it for when Crystal and I were in the heaviest coyote contest. But when it cut, if a person runs it with the decoy attached to it, I don't know what it. Kind of heavy little collar. But what's the total weight? I don't know. But right here is 14 freaking batteries. That'll give you an idea. But I don't know what the total weight is. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm just scanning to see. I'm down in Hobbs and would like to check it out in person maybe one day. One day we are both free. I'm not too far from you. I'm really digging this call. Kevin, just give me a holler. You can always give me a call or text me at 575-390-0048. That's my cell. I'm going to be gone half of this week down to Texas guiding. But after that, you can give me a holler. Thanks for everything you do, especially your time. You're very welcome, Joseph. How many coyotes do you think you and your clients kill a year? I didn't keep track last year, and I haven't really kept track this year after a bunch of people started calling bullshit when I was posting numbers a few years ago. I could tell you, there's numbers I remember off the top of my head. The very first season, we killed 322. It's been as low as 200, and I think it was a year before last, 504 was our record year. Prior to that was 503. So anywhere from 200 to 500 is what we kill. We'll probably kill less this year because I'm only running about half as many hunts, so I don't reach burnout. What was the number, bud? Let me get a pen. Or you can always message me, but it's 575-390-0048. It's also on my website on PeregrineUniversity.com. All right, thanks. Going to get it pre-ordered. Is there an option to have you add some more sound? Add some of your sounds. Couple of ways. You can pre-order it stock. It comes with 300 and some sounds on it. 20 of them are the ones I donated to ICOtec for this cause. You can also buy it fully loaded with all my sounds. I think I've got like 212 or 14 sounds right now. I'll load all them suckers on there. And there's a setting for that, or a choice for that. Or what a lot of people have done is they pre-ordered the call and then they added to the order, additional sounds. I want the call, but I also want to make sure I get this sound, and this sound. And then we'll go ahead and take the time to unbox the call and load it on there. What I can't do, I can't go and for everyone who pre-ordered, go back through their history of 15, 20 orders or 50 orders since 2013 and make sure that I copy all the sounds they ever bought and put it on here. It'll take me months to get these all out. I can't do that. But if you want to buy additional sounds, we will take the time to go ahead and add them and test them and get them working on the collar. So, Jennifer Harper's watching. Hey, Jennifer, in Illinois. Does it take an SD card as well? No, Michael Hoover. No, this model's got internal memory. To be able to play two sounds at once, it's got to be stored internally. An SD card, it just isn't fast enough, or I don't understand the exact technology, but I know it needs to be memory resident to be able to play the two sounds at once with the technology that they're using. So it's got a USB port. And I really like that because I like things that are solid state. I don't like an SD card that gets dusty, an SD card that goes bad, an SD card that the caller rejects and says, please load SD card, please load SD card. All that shit's been taken care of. It's internal memory built into it. Everything is via a USB port. Was out coyote hunting and got in late for your live. We may have answered already. ETA. James, the ETA, and I haven't heard anything different, and I talked to Chuck again today, like I do every day, is mid to late January. Mid to late January, these things are going to be available. They are going to, right now they're gearing up their factories to start putting these out. They're busy also putting out all their other call models. but they're getting all the bits and pieces in mass quantity. They're going to produce 1,000 of these suckers. They're going to airship from the factory 200 of them from China, airship them to ICOtec, and then they're going to get them to me. They're either going to come UPS or Chuck's going to drive out a trailer load of them and then maybe do some hunting. But that's, as soon as I get them, we're going to turn them around and get them out the door. The rest of them, in that 1,000 that they're doing, the rest of them are going to take the boat and come in a container and all that. And, they may not be available in stores until like February or March. So if a person's really wanting to get one for this season, pre-order is definitely a way to go. It's a way you guarantee you're going to get one of these first units. And it's not like, don't buy the first year model of this car, because let them let them tweak all the changes. This car's been getting tweaked left and right, based on and tiny stuff. We're not like, oh shit, this button don't work. That stuff's already been worked out by their engineers. We're just talking about little things like, hey, the battery rattles a little, stick some foam in there, that kind of thing. Is the kind of stuff we're finding in testing. There's, 8 or 10 guys that are using it, and they're killing the shit out of animals with it and not running into any real problems. But anyway, if you get, you're wanting to get your hands on one, and it will not come out of that factory until it's right. Again, ICOtec's a small company, aggressive company, and their customer support staff is 2 guys, Chuck Ames and JD Pyatt. And they carry a cell phone on them, and they field the calls. They don't have a room full, nor can afford to have a room full of people taking phone calls with customer problems. Thus, they don't produce something. Again, you don't have to worry about, hey, you got one of the first models, so we need to do a firmware. There's no firmware updates on any of the GC500 or the ICOtec calls that I know of. When you buy it, it's going to work, and it's built to last. Do you ever go hog hunting too, Jason? Yeah, I've never purposely went hog hunting, but when we're hunting down in Texas, if hogs show up while we're coyote hunting, we'll switch to hog hunting. I don't care for the taste of hogs, and so I never just go focus about going and getting some. James already pre-ordered the first day you made it. Perfect. Show the remote, please. Okay, I'll do that again. If you kept track of ICOtec or even own one of their GC500s, this is the GC500 remote. Same type of look and feel, but a hell of a lot better is the new Outlaw remote. Okay? Powered on, full color screen. I got it on the night mode right now. You can switch it to the day mode, which is white with black. 300 and some sounds already preloaded on it. It's 2 calls, 2 calls, 2 calls in one. You can play 2 sounds, stop, pause, 2 sounds at the same time. Again, really handy to do when I'm doing pup distress and I want to throw a little bit of howling in there, something that's not even in my sound files, and I don't have to build custom sound files just for it. I could fully, like a DJ, master mix my own stuff on the fly. Easy to do. And you got play 1 and play 2. You got pause 1, pause 2. You got a master stop button and a coax button, which will automatically stop whatever's happening and go to that coax sound. And it's preset on a level 2 or something like that, level 4 of 10. And I've got it to my crazy coaxer sound. What kind of range? They're advertised just like the GC500 to be a 300-yard remote. The first day I got it, I had a test to see because one of the things I said is, come out with a badass collar, badass speaker, and a damn good remote, but don't jeopardize, rubber antenna, so it does nothing to break, but don't jeopardize the already badass remote range. I walked out to 470 yards. I only stopped because the damn fence was in my way. 470 yards, it still worked. I know there's guys, I'm part of a group that are testing it. I know there's guys that are already got it, testing it out of sight, over a hill, into the woods, 600 yards, and it's working. Now, Does that make sense from a predator hunter's perspective that you're going to set your remote or your caller out there 300, 400, 500 yards? No. But it means when I've got my call out there at 50, 60, 70, sometimes 100 yards based on the wind speed, if I'm going to push the button, it's going to work. So, that's what people always talk about, remote range. That's a big hype. No, it ain't. I know that I could lay this remote on the ground while I'm guiding or calling, but for myself, press the buttons, not having to hold it. Make sure you hold it straight up, remote, hold it over your head, laying flat on the ground, and press the remote, and it's working. And the grass is this tall in front of me, and it's going to work. That's what I like. All right. Any other questions? Down to 30 diehard people. Have you had any trouble with that power switch on the side getting turned on by accident? Great question, Scott. I have not had any problems with it. I don't stuff it in a coat pocket. I mean, it's kind of the John Holmes of remotes. I wear it on a lanyard. Will it turn on? Yeah, there you go. I just karate chopped it on. Now, I got it set for 30. I think it comes factory as 10 seconds. It's going to go into sleep mode. It could, you can leave it in that sleep mode for a couple of months. So if you accidentally turn the remote on, not that big of a deal. But I love that robust switch versus this teeny tiny slider switch, which is also can be turned on when you put it in your coat pocket. So, trying to think what else. What other last minute questions we got? We're down to 27 people. We started at 100. It's Saturday night, and I'm glad you guys are spending it with me. I'm hoping I'm doing it justice. I'm hoping to give you guys an idea of why I've been, like I said, when I stand back and look at all the posts I've been making, I look like a freaking sales rep for a company, kind of the same people that I make fun of. I don't work for ICOtec, but I'm excited as hell about this collar because there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this design. And I'm excited because it's got everything, that I've been wanting in a collar. Besides Cottontail Candy, what other sounds do you recommend? Cottontail Crazy, Den Raid. Oh gosh, there's a list of them. I get that question quite a bit. Yeah, I can only afford to buy 5 sounds. What's your top 5? And I have no problem sharing what works for me, and it actually works across the country. What are the physical dimensions? How big? Mark Peterson. I don't know. I don't have a tape measure in here, Mark. But if you're familiar with the GC500, here they are for size comparison. Let me back up. Here they are for size comparison. Okay. I don't have, here it is compared to a 10 watt TOA, which is the smallest of the TOAs. I think this is what Fox Pro used to build their CS24s out of, is a 10 watt TOA. So, but it's comparable. Okay. It's not as big as, if y'all remember, I posted a video a while back of a Bluetooth system. God, that's dusty. A Bluetooth system that I was working on. It's not as big as that. It's smaller. The big old 15 watt speaker with Bluetooth in it. So it's not gargantuan size like that. To me, it's just the right size. There's my hand. So I hope that answers the question. It looks like it. Perfect. Thanks. Good. All right. And again, it comes in the box fresh with it. It comes with the decoy that runs on its own batteries. You go decoy crazy and run the batteries out of it. It's not jeopardizing what's the most important thing, which is the sound maker. So, all right. Any other questions from my final 30 people watching? I don't even know how long I've been doing this. It's probably been a while. I don't even know what time it is. Holy shit, it's 9:05. Started this at 7 o'clock. All right. I hope y'all liking the live video feeds. Again, Krista and I kind of got away from it. And we made the business decision to invest in an unlimited data plan. And so I have no problem doing more live feeds and staying connected with y'all. Trying to think what else. Is there any other questions? And it could be about the caller. It could be about anything in general. Thanks for your time. Thanks, James. I appreciate you checking in. All right. Anything else? I want one. All right. www.predatoruniversity.store. Come check it out. Get on the pre-order list, and I'll guarantee you'll get one. In January-ish. As soon as I get them, Crystal and I are going to work our ass off of turning those suckers around. Get them in the door, rip open the box, get the units, stick them in a box, ship them out to you the same day. That's what we're going to work on. Hopefully I'm not guiding then, because she's got to do it all herself. I think that would be a great idea if you do, Tony. Love the Facebook Live show. Cool. Thank you so much. What do we need to do to spike your orange drink? If you ever watched some of our live videos before when we were doing the TV show, I was drinking Captain and Coke, and all of a sudden the F-bombs started dropping. And my wife would poke me in the ribs or pinch me or something to tell me to stop it. So, yeah, now it's just orange soda. Volume. Somebody want to know about the volume? It's loud. It's really loud. It's loud, and I would say probably louder and clearer than the custom run and gun 60s. As soon as these are available, I'm going to quit building the custom run and gun 60s. Those were built out of need. We were hoping to have this last year, but they wanted to redesign everything about it, the board and how things work, and set it up for the future. So they didn't come out with them last year. I couldn't wait that long. I started tearing apart GC 500s and building my own collars with their permission. And but I took all that information, the designs, everything I was doing, upgrading the switches, upgrading the antenna. I gave all that information to ICOtec, and they've incorporated almost all of it into this call. To me, there's no need for me to be in there soldering, with my magnifying glass and coming up with a custom built collar when they implemented it in it. And I got mine in my truck as a backup, and I haven't used it since since I got this thing in for testing. And I may never use it again. I'm impressed with this collar. And it's something that when you get it, you got some quality. The thickness of the plastic, the ribbing they put in, you feel like you spent your money wisely. Can you compare volume to Fox Pro model CS24 loud, Krakatoa loud? It's been a long time since I heard a Krakatoa. The testing videos that I've seen that others are doing on testing, I'm not going to say names or who's testing it or what have you. It was loud. It was at I don't know, 300 yards or whatever it was. It was louder than the CS24. Right in front of each other, I don't know. They probably sound the same. But it was loud. And then where remote range drops off, and this thing you can keep going back farther and farther and farther back, this thing kept working and was loud and clear. And that's all I'm going to say, because all those tests are done by coyote hunters, and do it in field test in cold, windy conditions, and that's how the tests are being done. And no decibel meters, no laboratory type testing. Who's got time for that shit? Is it as loud or louder than CS24? Yes, it is. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, man, I really appreciate y'all. Warranty. Brandon, good question. I don't know. That's all up to ICOtec. I don't know what the warranty is going to be on it. If it's going to be, a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, a 2 year. I don't know. I do know that they stand behind their product. I've had guys who've had, with the GC500, have had remote problems. Boom, they take care of them. The speaker quit working on a collar. Boom, they took care of it. Hey, no problem. We'll send you another one. I don't know. That's kind of out of my hands. Luckily, I've never needed any warranty work with any of the products that I bought from them and use. So I just don't know that. That would be a good question to ask them, or I could go get that information from them. I don't know. All right. Is any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's been 2 hours. I hope I showcased, the new Outlaw. Like I said, no one else publicly has really seen this thing except for the handful of us that are testing it and trying to break it. Could I sell you a good custom call? Michael Hoover, he owns one of my custom built calls. That thing should retain its value pretty good if you want to sell it and then get this. What's nice, Michael, is, and I've told guys about that had me build them custom calls, is, if I'll build you one, but if you could just wait until January, you're going to get this remote, which won't work with custom calls. It's specifically designed for the new family of ICOtec callers. To me, this is well worth, just having this is well worth the money. Intelligently laid out, 2 sounds at once, fully control the dimmability and how long until the screen blacks out, and a stupid, ridiculous remote distance. I'm in love with this thing. Hell, I may sleep with it tonight. So it's worth the money right there. Alrighty. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed it. We're down to 25 people and no more questions are really rolling in. And I love the idea of 2 sounds at once. Michael Hoover, I love the idea of 2 sounds at once. Me too. Michael, I always thought it was too big of a hassle. People would say, hey, I want to play Rabbit Distress and some crows and all that. And I thought, okay, that's just a bunch of busy work. That's a lot of shit I got to be pressing. But I seen it firsthand. Lucas Mays, have you ever decided on a rifle for the wife getting that MVP? Well, I don't want to say in certainty if that's what I'm getting because she'll probably watch this video. And it's her Christmas gift. But we went and tried out different guns. We went to 5 different gun stores. And that gun has fit compared to Remingtons, Brownings, and what have you. That gun fit her like a freaking glove. So most likely I'm going to get it. It may rank up there as one of the more expensive gifts I ever bought her. Oh, shit. What were we talking about? Hold on. Oh, man. I got to go back to the question. Sorry about that, guys. Sidetracked. Mac or only PC? That's a good question, Lucas. That I'm going to have to talk to ICOtec about because I haven't downloaded any sounds on my Mac. Oh, yeah, Michael. 2 sounds at once. I saw it firsthand. We were calling the other night, total blackout, thermal, and nothing was coming into Rabbit. I let out a group howl. The whole place lit up. Kyle's howling everywhere. Went to Den Raid. Had them all barking, but nobody coming into it. I mixed in my super pissed coyote, and it was unbelievable. We had a pair come running in from this side and was circling us. 4 from across the road come in, and we were getting swamped with coyotes. And I truly believe it was because I had the first time ever I had the ability to master mix and had that barking, howling, pissed off, super pissed coyote is the sound file mixed in with Den Raid. It was a game changer. So we just kept it up. And we called in, 16 coyotes and 3 stands with that combination. I just skipped doing Rabbit. So, and it was easy to do. I had the remote memorized that, okay, this is 1 caller, this is 2 callers. I'm like having 2 callers at the same time. I could pause one, pause the other, and it worked out good. All right. Any other questions before we wrap this up? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, no. All right, so I appreciate y'all. If y'all have any other questions, go ahead and message me. and I'll try to get them answered as quick as possible. Again, this is the new ICOtec Outlaw. 2 years in the making. When finally it's starting to come to fruition, they're going to be available mid to late January. Pre-order them now if you want one this season. If you're going to wait until they go to other dealers or good in stores, I don't know when that's going to be. It's physically getting in stores, and they may be, by the time you go through all the hoops of shipping here and shipping there, it may be February, March before they're in stores. If you want to buy it online and you want to get it as soon as they come out, we'll work our ass off to do that, and we're going to throw in some freebies for the first 100 people to do it. So anyway, I appreciate y'all spending your Saturday night with me, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks a lot.